baby in a house when you were 13 years old and we can't find you? By the way, where's the baby buried? I asked that question to her. And she said what happened after she gave birth was they called her mom and they said that she's got to go. I said, how do you know the baby was dead? You're telling me they moved you into a room and they induced labor after you said, I don't want to give up my child.
And the kids, we all thought they were this tragic little family. They weren't his. We found the DNA records later.
They hid. Not because I was embarrassed. Not because I didn't want anyone. Yes, we did keep it very private. But it's because it was a moment very sacred. I was growing a human inside of me. My baby. The world that Charlie and I live in is very toxic.
Oh my God, folks, buckle up because the conservative world is about to implode. What if I told you that Candace Owens just dropped a bombshell live on air that could shatter everything we thought we knew about Erika Kirk's picture-perfect life? He wasn't the father. Yeah, you heard that right. Whispers of DNA drama, hidden pregnancies, and a web of secrets that's got the internet exploding. Is Erika's story all smoke and mirrors? Did Charlie Kirk die without knowing the truth? Stay tuned as we dive into the messy allegations, leaked hints, and wild theories that have everyone talking. You won't believe what sources are saying next. Alright, everybody, let's get right into this because the tea is scalding and nobody's ready for how hot it's about to get. We're talking about Erika Kirk. Yes, the grieving widow, the picture-perfect conservative wife, the woman who built her entire brand around being Mrs. Charlie Kirk. For years she sold us this fairy tale image, devoted mother, loyal partner, the supportive spouse standing beside one of the biggest names in the America First movement. But lately, that fairy tale is cracking faster than a cheap phone screen, and the person holding the hammer is none other than Candace Owens herself. Now, before we dive deeper, let's set the stage so you understand why this isn't just another internet rumor mill story. Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA, the guy who turned college campuses into battlegrounds for conservatism, gets tragically taken out in September 2025. The whole right-wing sphere mourns. Erika steps forward, cameras rolling, tears streaming, sharing raw, intimate moments, kissing his forehead one last time, posting videos of her heartbreak, turning grief into content almost immediately. People called it brave. Others whispered it was convenient. And then Candace Owens, who already had beef with Porsha from her exit years ago, starts her series Bride of Charlie. Episode after episode, she peels back layers, and what's underneath isn't pretty. The central bomb that everyone keeps circling back to? The paternity question. Not was she a good wife. Not did she handle his death well. No. The question that's now echoing across every conservative comment section, every Telegram group, every late-night YouTube rabbit hole is, were those kids even Charlie's? Because if the whispers Candace has been teasing turn out to have legs, then the entire narrative flips. The perfect family? The tragic young widow raising two little ones alone? It all starts looking like a carefully constructed illusion. Let's start with the pregnancy mystery, because that's where the first real cracks appeared. Erika's whole public persona is built on being extremely online. Stages, planes, conferences, live streams, you name it. She's never been shy about the camera. Yet when it came to her pregnancies, radio silence. Not one single, clear, undeniable photo of a visible baby bump. Not a candid selfie, not a paparazzi shot, not even a blurry Instagram story where you can see the curve. Nothing. In an era where influencers document every craving, every ultrasound, every gender reveal, Erika treated her pregnancies like state secrets. Why? She said it was sacred. Private. The world they lived in was toxic. Fair enough, until you compare it to what happened after Charlie's passing. Suddenly privacy vanished. She filmed herself walking into the hospital room, kissing his cold forehead, breaking down in real time. Those videos went mega viral. People praised her vulnerability. But hold on. If grief gets broadcast live for sympathy and support, why did pregnancy get locked in a vault? It's the inconsistency that keeps people up at night. One minute she's too private to post a bump pic. The next she's live streaming the most intimate goodbye imaginable. Make it make sense. Then we get to the ultrasound clip that's been dissected frame by frame across the internet. Someone leaked, or shared, depending who you ask, an image of an ultrasound supposedly from one of Erika's pregnancies. Zoom in. The name on the screen isn't Erika Kirk. It's her maiden name, Erika France. Okay, maybe that's just old hospital paperwork, right? Maybe they never updated the system after the wedding. Possible. But when your entire identity online is Mrs. Erika Kirk, when every handle screams that married name, seeing the old one pop up on something as monumental as your baby's first picture, it raises an eyebrow.
Or 10. And who's standing next to her in that appointment? Not Charlie. Her mom, Lori.
Again, families go to appointments together all the time.
No crime there.
But combine it with 0 photos of Charlie at any prenatal visit, 0 stories of him feeling the kicks, 0 cute couple bump pics, and suddenly the absence starts screaming louder than any presence ever could. Candace didn't just point at the missing photos and call it a day.
She went further.
In one of the early episodes, she played old podcast clips where Erika talks about her births. The dates get fuzzy. She stumbles over anniversaries, kids' birthdays, little timeline details most moms have tattooed on their brains. It's the kind of thing you laugh off at first. Hey, sleep deprivation messes with memory.
But when you stack it on top of everything else,
it starts feeling less like forgetfulness and more like someone reciting a script they didn't rehearse enough. And then there's the OBGYN comment that still haunts comment sections. Erika casually drops in an old interview that her obstetrician is no longer with us.
Dead? Retired? Moved to another state? Nobody knows because nobody followed up.
But in the middle of all these paternity whispers, that one throwaway line suddenly sounds ominous.
Like, why mention it at all?
Why not just say the doctor was great and leave it there? Now let's talk about the sacred privacy excuse again, because it's crumbling under its own weight. If pregnancy was too holy to share, why was literally every other painful chapter of her life turned into content?
The goodbye kiss, the funeral clips,
the I'm broken but still standing motivational posts.
All public.
All monetized through views, engagement, donations, merch.
But growing a human inside her? Too sacred.
The selective sacredness is what's driving people crazy. And here's where the rumor mill starts spinning faster. Anonymous accounts, burner profiles, friends of friends start dropping hints.
They say Charlie himself had doubts.
They say late-night conversations happened. They say tests were quietly run. They say results came back and, well, let's just say the math didn't add up the way everyone assumed. Nobody's dropping PDFs or lab reports. Yet. But the volume of smoke is getting thick enough that people are starting to wonder where the fire is.
Public reaction? Split right down the middle.
On one side you've got the die-hard Tpusa loyalists screaming, leave the widow alone. This is disgusting. They call it harassment, grief exploitation, straight-up misogyny. On the other side you've got people who've been side-eyeing Erika for years. Some since the Romania modeling days, some since the quick marriage, some since the way she handled Charlie's death. They are in the comments yelling, where's the bump pics? Show us the DNA. It's a civil war in the comment sections, and Candace is happily pouring gasoline. One thing nobody can deny, the silence from Erika herself is deafening.
No big rebuttal video. No press conference.
No here's my pregnancy journal, leave me alone.
Just quiet.
And in the internet age, silence isn't neutral.
Silence is fuel. And the internet, it's doing the rest of the work.
Threads on X, deep dive Reddit posts, Telegram channels dedicated to Erika files. They are all connecting dots faster than anyone can debunk them. One viral post maps out a timeline. Erika's alleged modeling stint in Romania overlaps with periods of supposed single life. Tyler Boyer's name pops up in photos from events right around conception windows. Tracy Martin's constant presence gets reframed from loyal bestie to something more complicated.
None of it is proven.
None of it needs to be. In the age of suspicion as sport, correlation feels like causation. The wilder theories? They're out there too. Some corners claim surrogacy was involved and the real bio-mom is closer than anyone thinks. Others go full tinfoil, occult ties, Freemason handshakes, even absurd gender-related conspiracies that make you question if people have lost the plot entirely. Candace stays mostly above that fray. She focuses on the lies about upbringing, the missing years, the family tree that doesn't add up. But by platforming the conversation, she's opened Pandora's box. Once the paternity question is on the table, everything else feels fair game.
Financial fallout is already rippling.
TPUSA's donor base is reportedly jittery. Some big checks got held back after the series dropped.
Affiliates are quietly distancing.
Merch sales tied to Erika's Widow Warrior branding?
Down in certain circles.
The brand that once unified young conservatives is fracturing, and every new episode feels like another crack in the foundation. If a paternity reveal ever does drop, whether from Candace, a whistleblower, or some leaked lab slip, it could be the kill shot. Not just for Erika's image, but for the entire ecosystem she's tied to.
Legal whispers are starting too.
Defamation suits get floated in comment sections. Erika should sue Candace into oblivion. Others counter. If there's truth to it, discovery would be brutal. Subpoenas for medical records, phone logs, travel history. Nobody's filed anything public yet.
But the threat hangs in the air like smoke before a fire.
And in a post-2025 world where privacy is already dead, the idea of court-ordered DNA tests isn't as far-fetched as it sounds. Erika's response, or lack thereof, only pours more fuel. A short statement through a spokesperson calling it baseless harassment.
A few reposts of supportive messages. No sit-down interview.
No flood of old photos proving the pregnancies. No here's the kids' birth certificates. End of story.
Just more silence.
And silence, as we've learned, is the ultimate accelerant online. Every day she doesn't clap back feels like another day the narrative writes itself. Meanwhile, Candace keeps winning. Views in the tens of millions.
Super chats pouring in. New subscribers every hour.
She's turned a personal vendetta, or a quest for truth, depending on your side, into the biggest conservative drama since the Trump era infighting.
And she's not slowing down.
Teasers for upcoming episodes promise the documents you've been waiting for, the names you need to hear, the timeline that changes everything. Whether she delivers or not, the hook is set.
People are addicted. So where does this leave us? At a crossroads nobody saw coming.
One path, it's all smoke. Vicious rumors weaponized against a grieving widow by a former colleague with an axe to grind. The other path, there's fire. Real, burning, legacy-destroying fire. Charlie died not just a martyr for the cause, but potentially a man betrayed in the most personal way imaginable.
The kids, caught in the blast radius through no fault of their own.
The movement, left questioning its heroes, its narratives, its blind spots. The truth, still buried under layers of allegation, insinuation, and selective memory.
But the questions won't stop. They can't stop. Not when the stakes are this high. Not when the story is this juicy.
Not when every new hint feels like it could be the one that finally blows the lid off.
So I'm asking you, right now, in the comments, what do you think?
Is this the biggest grift in conservative media history? Or is it the long overdue exposure of a carefully curated lie? Do you believe the paternity rumors are baseless cruelty? Or do you think there's something Candace knows that the rest of us are only starting to glimpse?
Drop your hottest take below.
Be brutal.
Be honest.
And if you want the next drop the second it hits, hit that like button, smash subscribe, turn on notifications. Because if this story breaks the way it's threatening to, you're not gonna want to miss a single second. We're living through history, folks. Messy, ugly, heartbreaking history. And it's far from over. So here we are, at the edge of the cliff, staring down into the abyss of what might be the most explosive conservative scandal of the decade. He wasn't the father. Those 4 words Candace Owens has been circling like a shark, never quite saying them outright but making damn sure every single viewer hears them loud and clear in their head. We've gone through the missing bump pics, the ultrasound name glitch, the fuzzy dates, the hotel suite whispers, Trace's too close for comfort friendship, Tyler Boyer popping up like a bad penny, the final letter that smells fishy to half the internet, the selective privacy, the silence that screams louder than any rebuttal ever could.
And still, no smoking gun. No leaked lab report. No courtroom drama.
Just an avalanche of hints, patterns, and alleged lists that's got millions of people refreshing YouTube at 3 a.m. wondering if the perfect widow story was ever perfect at all.
This isn't just drama for drama's sake anymore. This is legacy-level stuff.
Charlie Kirk built an empire on family, faith, and fighting for what's right. If the kids he loved, raised, and probably bragged about in private weren't biologically his, if he carried that doubt to his grave, if the woman who stood beside him on stage turned out to be playing a longer, darker game, then everything crumbles.
The brand,
the movement, the trust. And Erika? She either becomes the most unfairly maligned widow in modern history, or the central figure in a betrayal so personal it makes soap operas look tame. Candace keeps dropping breadcrumbs, more episodes teased, more documents coming soon, more names about to surface.
Is she sitting on the mother of all receipts?
Or is this the slowest, most calculated character assassination ever filmed? Only time, and maybe the next upload, will tell. But one thing's crystal clear. This story isn't dying down.
It's mutating.
Every day of silence from Erika's side, every new anonymous drop in the comments, every side eye from a former Tfusa insider, it grows legs.
And those legs are sprinting straight towards some kind of reckoning.
So I'm turning it over to you now, because you're the jury in this court of public opinion. Drop your hottest, most unfiltered take in the comments below. Do you think Candace is a truth-teller finally exposing a massive grift? Or is she a vengeful ex-employee turning grief into content for clout and cash? Paternity rumors, 100% BS harassment, or is there smoke because there's actual fire? If DNA proof ever drops, does the whole conservative sphere implode, or does it just rally harder around leave the widow alone? And the big one, if Charlie knew, does that change how you see his entire legacy?
Be savage.
Be respectful. Be everything in between.
But say it.
Because the algorithm eats engagement, and right now this comment section is about to become the wildest battlefield on YouTube. If you made it this far, and you're still here because you can't look away, do me a solid.
Smash that like button if this video shook you even a little.
Hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss whatever bombshell drops next, because if Candace delivers, we're covering it live, no filter. Share this with that one friend who's obsessed with conservative drama, you know the one. And pin your wildest prediction in the comments. I'll be reading every single one.
We're living in the messiest timeline, folks.
And the next chapter?
It's coming fast. Stay locked in. This ain't over. Peace out.